Bob, Katie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'm doing it again, Alan, okay?
Oh. Looks like I'm there. All right. Okay, this class is called Roll Logic. And it's hopefully answers the question that you might ask is, you know, I've learned all these roles. They told me to learn the roles, and now what do I do with them? You know, what the hell are they all about anyway? So this is my take on it, and it is just that. It is just my view of it. Other people have different ways of going about looking at it, and there's other ways of learning all this, but I think it does a pretty good job, and I hope I have enough. I counted them and I have 15. So if I take one, if somebody already has the book, I notice you are the book, and this comes from this book here. So if we come up short, oh wow.
And they are for sale.
I think she got the very
There might not
last
be
one.
many left.
Yeah, I think I got the last one.
Obviously, it's by you, but what is the name of the book?
It's called Getting Into Bluegrass Banjo.
And it's an
I'm
excellent
gonna pass
book.
this on because I do have the book, but if we could share one for the class.
I should mention there is one extra thing in the back that's not in the book. So if there is one, you should, if there's one enough, you should take it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're right. We're real close. Okay, how's everyone? Did everybody get one?
I think we have one extra.
Oh wow,
Sweet.
2 extra. Excellent. Yeah. Very good. All right. One of the things, when you go to play music on the banjo, on any stringed instrument, one of the concerns is if you compare it to a piano and you want to play this pitch on the piano, it only appears one place. Now you can play it with different fingers, but it's only at one spot on the piano. Where on the banjo, if you want to play that pitch, you have 5 places to get it, and it's like, which one do I want to choose? And that's a question unto itself, but depending on which one, the placement of that G note on what string somewhat suggests what role you might want to use. So what string a note appears on is going to be an issue for us, and we'll see as we go along what it is. The other thing is that musicians are real interested in knowing a scale, you know, and it's important that we know a scale. And since we play so much in G, I'm just going to speak of the G scale for a little while. And if I were, because there are so many places to get so many notes, there are 1,573,422 different fingerings of a G scale. I made that number up. Just to show that there are a lot. I bet it's not far wrong how many ways there are to finger a G scale. But I would teach students, I would say, here's a G scale. So they would learn it, and they go, now what do I do with it? And I would go, well, you know, we don't actually play cross the notes always like that. You know, you have to learn it a lot of different ways. So I would teach them this one. They go, now what do I do with that? I go, well, you know, in banjo we don't actually do that. So I was always looking for another way to teach scales that were in a way that we actually kind of, I thought, use them more, which to me is up and down. So I would look at a scale on one string at a time. And so we're going to do that also, and we'll get to it. But the other thing is, what is a scale? Well, you know, a music theorist could tell you that it's, you know, this Pythagorean theorem, and it lays out like this, and it's steps and half steps, which are all very, very important. But what the scales really are favorite places musicians put their fingers. And you prove it every day, because you do this right here, don't you? You put your fingers down just like that. And you don't, in this case, it's a G chord. But you might not know what the names of the notes are. You might not know how they go together, why they sound good together, or anything. Just somebody else said, put your fingers down like this. And when you do, and you strum it, you go, well, yeah, that sounds good. So you do it every day. You just put your fingers in places that musicians put their fingers. And that's what scales are to a certain extent. And the scale is like the alphabet. And it's not music, but it's where music is found. And the alphabet is not literature, but those are where words are found. And if I played this G scale descending, it's not music. But if I did this to it, all of a sudden, oh yeah, I know that song. Well, the only difference is, it's you're making some of them long and some of them short, and you're putting spaces in there, just like a language, you know, where you take letters, you jumble them up, you put little spaces in between them, and you recognize them as words, and you read them, and you get meaning out of it. So that's it. And scales are where chords come from, and melodies many times come from chords. If when we're wanting to play a song, the first thing you always need is what? I have a friend that says there's two things you need to know to play music with somebody. It's water and whiskey. Is water we gonna play, and whiskey we gonna do it in. So if you wanted to play this tune, and I'm going to say it's Red Wing, it goes like this. And it goes on from there. Well, you can see as I play it, it's almost all just chords. It's just the notes of the chord. So chords and melody go together. And I show you that. If I play a G chord and a C chord and a D chord, I've played all the notes of the scale. That's why the chords and the melodies go together. It's because they're the same thing. And that proves it. You know, if I want to do, you know, the melodies are notes of the chords. So when we get all this together, what is my point? I'm going to play Red Wing for you now. Is to be able to play have a melody, find a melody, and then put these rolls into it to where it sounds like something. So it gets to this. So we're gonna, and this is called roll logic. And logically, we would start with the first string, but practically it works better starting with the second string. So if you open to what's called page 3, and you see there at the top, rather than writing scales out across the string, there's all the notes of the G scale that are found on the second string. Everybody see that? Okay, I'm going to tell you a quick joke, and if you know the punchline, keep it to yourself, because I want to say it. There's this guy who claims he can walk on water, and his friend bets him that he can't. They go out to the river, and in fact, he does walk out on water, and he walks back, and his friend is amazed. How did you do that? And he says, it's easy if you know where the rocks are. On the B string, in the key of G, these are where the rocks are. And you need to learn them because they're real important. When you play bluegrass, and especially playing in the key of G, you use them a lot. And also above them are written their names. And if you could learn the names of them, that would be real cool. And I have a way of that I could show you how you could teach yourself the names of the notes, but that's another day. So there they are, and you should get used to seeing them and knowing them. Okay, as I said, scales, it sounds like this. Let me play it. Okay, that is the notes of a G scale that are found on the B string. Now, we don't have a melody yet that we want to play, but we know that melodies are in there. And there are, I could make up a number, but there are a lot of melodies there. And I could play a number of them. But for now, we know where they're lurking. We know the spots. Okay, now, as a bluegrass banjo player, I have a melody that's on the I'm playing on the second string. And this is sort of the heart of this whole idea of roll logic, is what rolls best express the melody when they appear on the second string. And I'm going to offer, if you look there at that very first roll, which is called roll number 1. And it's just it's a forward roll. Does it look familiar to you? Okay. It sounds like this. We did this in the last class. So take a look at it as quietly as you can in your own space. Try it, and then we're going to do it together. Questions about it, or any concerns or anything? All right. Here's the heart of the matter here, is that in that roll, the second string appears 3 times. So that means we have 3 opportunities to place a note in that roll on the second string. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so here's what this scale sounds like with me playing this roll, and every chance I can move, I do. So I'm just playing these notes that are shown here, and I'm playing it in this roll. So it will sound like this. Sense?
Yeah.
All right. like for you to do is to try that as quietly as you can in your own space and see what you think. Okay. Are there any questions or concerns or issues?
Yeah, I couldn't do it because I forgot the formula.
All right. You do the roll. Which part of it? The left hand or the right hand part? The left hand part.
Formula, the whole.
Well, if you just could learn the locations and not think about the whole half step stuff, because what's happening is we're starting on the B note of the G scale, so we're already into the G scale. So if you try to go whole half, you wind up with the B scale.
Okay.
So you just take out the 0, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 0. Just do that much. And, don't worry about the
It's
whole.
written down right here. It's written on your thing.
Oh yeah.
Just do your roll and fret that
Yeah.
string.
Okay, I didn't realize. that
Oh,
was
okay. I'm
there.
sorry. I didn't
Okay.
realize. Oh, okay. Now, what this is to me, an analogy is a sewing machine. If you have a sewing machine that has an electric pedal, you push it, the needle just goes up and down. That is the roll. Then as this thing is going, then you move the material underneath the needle, and that's your left hand. So you have this roll just goes, and you move your left hand, and you hit these spots, and you learn, just to play all the combinations you can. Pete Seeger did a album back in the 50s called the Goofing Off Suite, and so you could just goof off. You just play this roll and then just put your fingers down, hit the spots, and see what it sounds like. So you might do this. Just try and see what happens. And to me, I think this is cool. You're not reading tablature, and you're creating something. It seems like a cool thing to do, to get away from tablature so much. Okay, so you do that to the point where you feel like you can manipulate it as much as you can. And then always part of your practice and your training is just trying to pluck out melodies. So among all of these notes, you start to search out some melodies. And I'm going to search out one that goes like this. If I was caught, or I could do. I saw the light or something. And then try to see if you can make this roll do that song. So you might have this. So, this is late in the day. So, are there any questions at this point? You want to try that? What's that?
You need some coffee?
Yeah, pour it on the glass. Going here. Does anybody have any questions about just how we're connecting this up? I'm highly trained, so I can look around the room and just see, just the slightest little, tug on your ear. I know you're okay. Now, let's say you've done that, and once again, these camps are not necessarily what tunes did you learn, but they're when you go home, what do I need to practice? Okay, so that's not the only role certainly that features the second string. We have this other role here, which is I call it the Train 45 role, but I really wanted to call it the Foggy Mountain Breakdown role, but there might be some financial liability involved if I did that. So I called it.
I've heard it called that.
Yeah, well, I would call it that, but I didn't in the book. So I called it the Train 45 role, and which does the same thing, but it's the role that does this. But on open strings, it just sounds. And if you look, and I should mention in that first roll, let's just take a minute and look at what's going on there, is that if I were to play Grandfather's Clock, just a single string, it would sound like this. In this roll, you'll notice that it sounds kind of jumpy. It goes like this. It's because the mechanics of the roll, where it puts that note. If you look at just the open second strings in that very first roll, the first one appears on the 1 of the beat. The second one appears on the and of 2, and the third one appears on the 4. So that second one has been, by the mechanics of the roll, has been syncopated, where if I were to just play the melody note in Grandfather's Clock would happen on the third beat, would happen right on the third beat. But when you play it in the roll, it's moved to the and so it's what has happened. It's been syncopated. So the roll and the melody has been syncopated by just the mechanics of the roll. So you have to get used to hearing that and not trying to straighten it out to change the roll. Because some people I've seen, their musical intuitions are fairly strong and they feel it should be on the third beat, and they'll change the roll in some fashion to get it to move over there, but we don't want that. We want it to be this. So, but now we come down to this Train 45 roll and we look, and it presents also the second string with 3 opportunities, but they're different. There's one on the downbeat of 1, and there's one on 2, but then the third one is on the and of 3. So there's 3, but they appear in a little different places. And you might ask, why do we need that? For me, it's this, is if you look at a song in a songbook, it has a melody written in standard notation. Then you look below it, it has the words to the song. And if a word has 2 syllables, it'll have 2 notes above it, because that's what songs are. Every syllable has a note. So the rhythm of the syllables of the words somewhat drive the rhythm of the melody. And some of them are quick and some of them are long. So if I were to do a song, Roll in My Sweet Baby's Arms, roll in my sweet baby's arms, just that much. And I found that melody on the second string. And I played using the forward roll, it would sound like this. Roll in my sweet baby's arms. And you go, well, that's not actually how I sing it. It feels funny. But if you played this other roll, it sounds like this, which sounds more like you sing it. Roll in my sweet baby's arms. So as the artiste that you are, and you've worked on these two rolls, and you can do either one, because you want it to represent not only the notes of the melody, but also the rhythm of the syllables, you would choose one over the other. Not that anybody in the front row is going to nudge their partner and say, you know, in that second measure, don't you think the player should have used a forward roll rather than the, you know, and it's like arguing over, don't you think you should have used a semicolon rather than a colon there, you know. They're not going to notice it, and one way is not right and the other way wrong. It's just that it's an option that you, as the player, and the style offers you to do and to be aware of and sensitive to. So that's my take on that. Okay, so now what? Let's go to the next string, which should be the third string. Okay, and there's the scale, the G scale. Here's another one here. I've got an extra. Oh, I'm sorry. There's the G scale on the third string. And once again, you learn those, learn the names of them. And then we ask the same question. What is a roll that banjo players use to play melodies when they appear on the third string? And you'll look at that roll and you go, well, that's the same roll that we just learned or used on the second string, but now we've just moved our thumb and index finger over to the third string. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and we can do the samest thing. And if you look at the next roll, it's the same Train 45 roll that we used, or Foggy Mountain Breakdown roll that we used on the second string. So we can, I'll just for time's sake, we'll skip over those. But if you look at the third roll down there, this is one that we did not use on the second string, but we're going to use it on the third string. And it is a forward, backward roll. Some people call it forward reverse. And and just right away, you ought to be able to look at it and go, well, this is different in that the third string, which is sort of the focus of our attention here, only appears twice. Once at the very beginning and very near the end. So right away you see, well, this is going to be different, and present a melody that's on the third string in a little different rhythmical fashion. So if I do the forward roll, it sounds like this. Or the Foggy Mountain Breakdown roll. But now, the forward reverse roll. See, it's a much presentation.
I have a little question about this. A lot of us probably, or maybe not, use the parking lot pickers book. And in that book, the tabs will give you the melody notes. So this information could, combined with what's already there, right, could help you find the right roles to go with them, right?
Yeah, you're right on target. Fact is, that's what the last little bit is. It's for parking lot pickers.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all from there.
Oh, sorry.
So, no, I'm real thrilled that you made the connection. Yeah, no, that's exactly.
No, because I've been struggling for a year with that book. Like, there's the melody. Thanks a lot. You gave it to me, but
Now what?
what do I do with it?
Well, hopefully this
and
will be
how do I
helpful.
find a role that works
Right.
with it?
Exactly. I'm right with you, and I hope this gives you some, this can't be everything, and it's not, you know, just do this and do this, and you're a banjo player. You
Right.
have to do it, and, oh, that works better. It worked well there, but it didn't work quite as well in this other one. You know, there's some artistry to it that you bring to it. So you do the role. And again, why do I want a role that can do that? Well, if you take a song like Don't This Roller Cross My Feet, you go, well, the melody goes down. See, it's real. There's a long space and then a quick note. And if I did the forward roll, it would not be wrong, but this is what it sounds like. And what it does, in a sense, it's adding a syllable. It's going, down this road, because you're, on the banjo, there's no way to, if you want to have a note that's long, we can't just draw the bow out and make it long. We just hit it twice, you know, or however many times it takes to fill in the space. And so if you do the roll just mechanically plays that string 3 times. But if you do the forward reverse roll, see, it comes out right the way the syllables of the song are presented as a melody. So that's why you would have that roll, and you want to know how to use it and listen for it. And the more you know these rolls, the more you start to hear them when people play them, because you hear the rhythm of the melody. And if it's real quick, in a sense, you go, well, that's the Foggy Mountain Breakdown roll. And if it's real spacey, you might say, oh, that's the forward reverse roll. So it helps you start to identify them. Okay, so that's a roll you can use. And then if we turn over to the next page, there's another roll that is used to play melody on the 3rd string especially. And it's the alternating pattern. And if you look at it, it sounds like this. And if you played the scale with that roll, it would be real, I think of it as square. It's just... If there's any point in time you want to stop and do these, it's late in the day and I'm not thinking real well and remembering that you're here.
I think you're holding up pretty good.
Yeah. So if you want to stop and try these, please let me know. Okay, you want to try it? Somebody said let's try it. Okay. Okay, go ahead and do it quietly in your space and then we'll do it together.
Wait, we're doing the alternating roll.
The alternating roll.
The 2nd string.
Third string. we could just do this. We're just going to play up the scale. And we'll go up as far as G, and we'll stop there. That'll be enough. So I'll count it all. I'll count off a measure, 1 and 2 and 3, and then we'll start on the next one. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. You start on 1. There's going to be, we'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we start 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now the next one is the same roll, and I should have mentioned this much earlier. Can we go all the way back and start all over? Did I mention he was Chinese? Did I mention that?
You told us about the Japanese.
No. It's just like telling a joke and getting almost to the end and going, oh, did I mention the guy was Chinese? You know, it's yeah. No. Is the roll is the order the fingers move in and not necessarily the strings they hit. So if we look at the next roll, which is called just roll number 5 there, you'll see that the order of the fingers is the same. It's the alternating pattern: thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle. But we're hitting, the thumb is only playing on the 3rd string right now. So it sounds like this. Does that make sense? Okay, and what that allows you to do is if you need notes to go quicker, rather than this, you can do. So you can do that roll. So you want to try that one? Okay, here we go. We're going to play that roll and then move up the scale. Not very fast. 1 and 2 and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's good. Let's do it again.
You're starting with 4th string.
3rd string. 1, 3rd string. Yeah, you're on the 3rd. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Quicker, so you have to move.
Right, because we're playing that string twice as much.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. Twice as often. Yes. Okay, here we go. One more time. You get one more chance, or you're out of here, I'm telling you.
It's not that easy.
Okay, here we go. 1, let's go slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you're having trouble with it, it's okay. That's what practice is all about. You know, you get it. Okay. Now, if we looked at this, and I didn't write this out, I'm just going to tell you. And you can think about it later, or it may never come up for you. But if you thought of the first version of the alternating roll, of these are long notes. Those are long. And the other one as short, or maybe quick. These are quick. Okay, you can combine these two rolls. If you took the, and you could do it either way, but I'm going to do it this way. If you took the first half of the first one, and then the second half of the second one, it would be this. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay.
First half, the first row, second half, the second row?
Yes, that's it. So if you played the scale, it would sound like this. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. So it allows you to do things like this. Start to play melodies just with some combination of this, combining this alternating pattern between the long and the quick, and sometimes I should use short and quick, no, short and long, short and long. By combining those ideas, you can play actually a fair number of melodies. You can get close to playing. So this is a good roll. Are there questions right now? Anybody, please. Okay. Now another thing. Oh yeah, good, great.
So, what makes it a log? Because you're playing.
I should say the duration of if we were just looking at the G note.
Right.
Okay, when you go like this, that's a long duration. Those are short.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's just a matter of the way you feel it versus the actual.
No, there's a physical space in between.
Oh, I see. From one destination to the next.
Right. Here's the essence of it. It's going like this. It's going long, short, long, short. So it's actually physically you're doing something different. It's not just, I feel it differently. You're actually changing your role. I mean, you're not changing the role, you're changing how you're doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, is it generally the thumb that makes it the long?
In this case, on this roll, in this instance, yes. And this is a good one. This is Sonny Osborne played a song called "Me and My Old Banjo," and he used almost this roll exclusively, and he did things in it by manipulating that long and short, or short duration of notes. And it sounds like this. That's my phone, and it's nobody. I promise. No caller ID. I get a lot of those, or a number of them. All right, so let me back. So that's all with some of them are long, short, short, long, short, 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 long, short, 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 long, long, short, short, long. Pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, but that's all with that one roll, just manipulating the sort of the long and the short aspects of it. Okay. So without going through all of the strings, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Is, and this is not written in here, I'm just telling you this, and I want you to try it or experiment with it. You notice that the forward roll worked both on, we were using it on the second string and the third string. So you can actually move between those two strings within the roll by moving, if you started on the second string with your thumb, and then when you did the roll, you hit the third string with your index finger. You see what I'm doing or hear? If you're not, it's just, there's nothing to write on here. If you look at your roll, it has three aspects to it, I think. It has those let's go back to this very first roll on the second string. To me, it has, and I'm going to use the term aspects, I guess, or compartments maybe. It has three compartments to it. It has those first two notes, and then it has, that's one compartment. Then the second compartment is the next three notes, and then the third compartment is the next three notes. Okay, you see, you seeing that? Okay, and each one of those compartments has a second string in it. Well, it could also have a third string in it. So in any one of those three compartments, you can move your finger, whatever finger's playing at the beginning, it's your thumb. It could start on the third string. The next compartment, your index finger, can hit either the second string or the third string. And the third compartment, your index finger can hit either the second or the third string. And so if you practice in a way where you move between those strings, it could be real helpful down the line. I should have worked that in there, but I didn't know enough at the time. But can you see what I?
Yes.
If you don't, please stop, and I'll try it one more time. What's that? Try one more time. All right. If I the first unit are these first two notes, and in that unit there is a second string, isn't there? Okay. The second unit is the three notes, and there's a second string in there, right? Okay, and then the third unit has a second string in it. In each of those units, you can play either the second or the third string.
Where we see the second string.
Yeah, where you're just seeing the second string now, it could be the third string. So you can move back and forth. So you could start unit 1 on the second string, unit 2 you hit the third string, and unit 3 you hit the second string again. Or you can do any combination you can think of. You could do the third string in the first unit, the second string in the second unit, and the second string again, depending on what you need. And that's a real important element of play because you run into melodies that skip back and forth between those two strings. And like I say, I should have worked that in here, but I never did. So I'm telling you, you're one of the rare, you're the Johnny Banjo Seed group that's going to go out and spread this to all the people that I didn't tell this to. Now, what does that mean, Mr. Mund? So if I can get to where I can do that, and I'm just going to do it on the open strings. I'm going to go second, third, second, just for now. Does that make sense? Please.
Yes.
Okay, now watch this. I'm going to play, and this may be too much, and I'm not going to go very far with it. But if I go back here and I look at these scales, and if I could cut them out and put one over the other, and I look, and we're just going to do the second string and the third string, and we look at the two zeros, okay? There's a 0 on the second string, 0 on the third string. On the second string, the next note is 1, the first fret. On the third string, the next note is the second fret. Okay? Well, what happens when I play those? Okay, here's the two zeros. Here's the first fret of the second string, and here's the second fret of this string. It makes that. Right? And it looks like a D7 chord. Yeah. Now, and I'm not going to go very far. The next note on the second string is at the third fret. But the third note on the third string is at the fourth fret. It sounds like that. Pretty cool, huh? So if you move what you've got there up 2 frets. That's it. It makes this sound. Right. That's it. Okay. Now, here's what happens when I put those positions together with this roll. So I go, here's the roll. Okay, here we go. Sounds like music, doesn't it?
What role did you use?
Same one, just the one we're talking about. Yeah, that we're swapping back and forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now if I were to change the roll, I'm not going to change the positions, I'm just going to change the roll. I'm going to start on the third string, go to the second string. It's going to sound like a lot of songs because it has to, you know, it just is. So that's how you can take that one roll and you jump back and forth between those two strings. And I'm going to just to
So you can
illustrate.
play both string scales at the same time.
Yes, and they harmonize.
Because the second string follows the third up the neck,
For the most part, yeah.
right?
Sometimes it's on the same fret. You know, you might try this, is just make a copy of this and cut out those lines and look at them and go, I'm sorry I didn't.
That's okay, that's a good idea though.
All right, let's stop here real quick. Now, you would also, there's a set of rolls for the fourth string. There's some rolls for the first string, which we didn't get to. And then how do I use all this ultimately to play a melody? So if you go to the last page, or the next to the penultimate page, is this Long Journey Home from the Parking Lot Pickers Songbook. And what I did is, this is my sense of how this might work, is if you have to know the melody you want to, you have to, if you want to play a tune, you need to know the melody. And the Parking Lot Pickers Songbook is a really good place to go and locate melodies. And because they have the melody written out in standard notation, they have the words, and then down here, the banjo edition has the banjo tablature of just the melody. So you could look up a title that you're familiar with and try to pick it out on your own. And if you run into a problem, then you can turn over to the page and see where you've gone wrong and see how it really goes, and then move on. So it's a really great book, and I recommend it highly. So how I would see this whole thing working is you look at the melody, and it starts on the fourth string, doesn't it? I'm going to play the melody. It's lost all my money, but a $2 bill. Or a long journey home, we'll call it. So you go, it starts on the fourth string. You would turn over in the roll logic section to the fourth string page, and you would look at the rolls that are, say these are rolls that work when the melody is on the fourth string, and you would try them out until you found one that you felt like matched the rhythm of the melody. Because each roll has the capability of presenting it differently. So you might try, if you said, well, I'm going to do the forward reverse roll because that works on the fourth string, and you would go, and you go, lost all my, and you go, well, it leaves out the all. It goes lost all my, it leaves out all, lost my. So you try another one, and the one I like, just to cut, is this one. And you go, that's it. Lost all my. And then you look and you go, the melody now goes to the third string. So you turn to the third string section, and you look at the rolls that present the melody on the third string, and you try them, and you go, which one presents the melody in a way that sounds good to me, satisfies me. And you know, it could be a forward roll, it could be the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll. You could try the alternating, and you know, you try them all till you find one that satisfies your sensibilities. And also that comes from listening to how other people might do it. And then when it goes to here, you go, that's the second string to the third string. Well, we just talked about that. You know, that that forward roll can go back and forth between the second and third string. So I'm going to try that. Or the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll can go back and forth between the second and the third string. Those are two rolls that those strings have in common. So you could try that. And so you work your way through the song just by what string is the melody on and what rolls have I played that can play those strings. Till you get all the way to the end and you wind up, and I wrote out something on the other side, which it might be like this. Very cool, huh?
Very cool.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And it just takes, it really takes you sitting down and trying it. You know, not getting discouraged or anything, but just trying to get as far as you can go. If you can't go any farther, look at my version and see if it doesn't offer, oh yeah, I see. And then go back to the, you know, your own.
I think when most of us are trying to make invent breaks, we get hung up because we don't know which rope, knowing which string to start with sure helps.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot to know. You know, there's so much to know to play music, and so you have to start accumulating experiences, trying it, and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and play it for other people and just try it out. And now, this version that I come up with, I call it the Roll Logic version because there's no hammer-ons, no slides, no pull-offs, no nothing, because we can get kind of lost in all of this extracurricular stuff and not quite understand how the roll and the melody is coming together, you know, and what.
But once you get that down, then you can figure out, it's easier to figure out how to embellish it.
Definitely,
With your
definitely.
slides.
Yes, yes.
Pull off.
See, and
Trying
yes.
to do a band.
So, do you get a sense of how this is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Working.
totally.
And you know, it doesn't explain everything. This is not everything. It's not even close. But if you don't know this, it's a good entry into just how these rolls and melodies connect.
From most of your experience, did you really, did you use this approach? Is this
Actually, no. But through my career of teaching, I've struggled with how to explain what's going on in a way that I feel is accurate, genuine. And so it's more of a sense of in trying to teach other people. A lot of this I sort of just, I won't say intuitively knew, but I listened to other people and realized how they were doing it. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this was kind of part of it.
well, you didn't write it out, but I want to think the kind of things you did.
Okay, yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing. You win.
Alan,
Yes.
you say is there a copy of the last page?
Oh, you can have this.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
do have the book, but the last page is not.
Yeah.
I just want to compare and see what I come up
Yeah.
with.
Actually, the book has more exercises and things that I've sort of
Yes,
shortened.
yes. And do you have an education degree?
I do not. Well, I do. Yes, I do. What am I saying? I do.
Excellent.
I do. I do. Yes, yes. That's like Monty
It's like
Python.
you know how people learn.
Uh, You know, I thank you. It's like Monty Python, you know, the guy, are you the doctor? No. Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right. Are there any observations or questions or?
Is it true that you want to play the melody or going across the strings to keep you inside of about a 5-fret area?
You know, that's, yeah, a lot of it happens. I'm going to show you, if I played, here's Lost All My Money but $2 Bill again, and you just watch where my fingers go. Here's a... It's the same place, you know, or name another tune, I don't know.
All of me.
I can't do it. That's different. That's a little different.
I'll fly away.
See, they're all right
taken me a week.
Well, they're all, so a lot of it is just all right there. And of the sort of traditional, gospel-y, you know, just folk song sort of stuff, it's so much of it is just right here. And they speak of the pentatonic scale, and what it is it's a scale that doesn't have that, it doesn't have that note or that note, which are the half steps, which is where the tension comes in it's resolved, tense, resolved. So it's taken the tension out of the scale. So it winds up being these notes.
That's your pentatonic.
Yeah, and anytime, you know, the pop composers and Broadway composers want to compose folk melodies, you know, buttons and bows. They use the pentatonic scale because it's folkish. It has, you know, so it's just, yeah, yes is the answer to your question ultimately. And the more you know, the more you travel, you know, and the more you travel, the more you know. But for where we are right now, just these little areas right in here, just that $2 bill group of notes will get you a lot of the melodies that bluegrassers play. Well, okay. I'm going to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was very nice.